Angus, thank you. Very interesting, seemingly, how they are lining up here, Jonathan.
Well, I wonder what Tornado Flyer is going to be doing. Whether he's going to be acting as a spoiler. Brian Cooper is taking the inside route again on Asterion for Longe. Bryony Frost will always line up on the outside and then get the lead and cut back in. And I imagine that Clan Des Obeaux will want to be very handy, and he's one in from Frodon.
Is that with Asterion for Longe, based on what happened last time, where he went out nearly through the wing? Yeah. Is that almost the brave route on the inside?
It is. It is a brave route for a horse with his record. But yeah, I think you can't really go into a race like this saying, oh, well, he might make a mistake or fall, so I think I'll keep out the way. I mean, you've got to go for it, haven't you?
Tornado Flyer, who is normally dropped out, normally patiently ridden. I did ask Danny Mullins after the win earlier on, how will he ride him? He said, well, I see what Willie says. It looks as though they might just be trying to be a bit more forceful.
Yeah, although from the moment, it looks as if Frodon's going to lead from Clan Des Obeaux, which I think would be ideal for both of them.
More so Clan Des Obeaux, perhaps?
Well,
given that you like his chances a lot.
Yeah, well, I think he'll win Clan Des Obeaux, but as always, I'll hope for Frodon.
Let's join Mark.
So still some 100 yards or so before they reach the starter, with Asterion for Longe right on the inside and Frodon on the outer of the field of 9 as they approach starter James Stenning for this most eagerly awaited clash. All clear is given, and they're off for the Grade 1 Ladbrokes King George VI chase, and Frodon towards the outside goes forward together with Asterion for Longe on the inside. Minella Indo between those two. Clan Des Obeaux is stalking, racing in 4th position as they rise over the first fence, at which Tornado Flyer made a slight mistake. The back marker is St. Calvados, and they go already onto the ditch, which is the second. Minella Indo and Frodon in the air together. Chantry House wasn't that fluent, and there was a mistake at the back of the field by St. Calvados as they now make the turn to go into the back straight. So on the inside, Minella Indo, on the outside, Frodon, and these two are now in front by about 4 lengths to Asterion for Longe the Grey, who races alongside Clan Des Obeaux, and then Chantry House, a break of a couple of lengths to Lost in Translation as they make the run to go down the back straight and on now towards fence number 3. And as they do so, it will be Frodon who has the lead there to Minella Indo, who was over in second in what is already a well-strung out field. Then Clan Des Obeaux on the outside of Asterion for Longe and Chantry House. A break then of 2.5 lengths to Lost in Translation. Then Mr. Fisher as they go over the second one down the back straight. Last but one was Tornado Flyer, and the back marker is St. Calvados. And now they go towards the 5th, which is the second of the open ditches. And Frodon and Bryony Frost had the lead there by about 2 lengths. A mistake on the inside by Mr. Fisher. Sean Bowen sent up into the air there out of the saddle, but he's still in the race, and he's last but one as they take the final fence taken down the back straight, all safely over, and all jumped that one well. So it's Frodon now who has the lead, but they're beginning to pack up in behind, with Minella Indo racing into the turn in second, and Clan Des Obeaux is in third. Chantry House plotting a wide course in a share of 4, with Asterion for Longe the Grey up against the inside rail. Just a length away then is Lost in Translation. A length and a half to the inside, Mr. Fisher, followed by Tornado Flyer, and the back marker is St. Calvados. Into the home straight through 1/3 distance. Frodon, last year's winner, comes towards the next, and he was quick in the air, and he led by a length and a half to the Gold Cup winner, Minella Indo, over in second. The dual winner of the King George, Clan Des Obeaux, in third, Asterion for Longe in fourth, and out wide Chantry House, followed by Lost in Translation as they go over fence number 8, and Frodon's lead was about a length and a half. A little awkward in the air was Asterion for Longe. On to what will be the final fence in a circuit's time, and Frodon comes to it, still holding this advantage of a length and a half over Minella Indo over in second as they come up past the stands with a circuit to go in the Ladbrokes King George, and Minella Indo moving up now on the inside, eyeballing Frodon. 2 lengths away is Clan Des Obeaux. Then on the inside, Asterion for Longe. A further length and a half back to Lost in Translation. Chantry House off the bit as they pass the stands, ridden into that turn by Nico de Boinville. And then Tornado Flyer on the outside of Mr. Fisher, and still the back marker and quite wide is St. Calvados. One circuit down, one circuit to go, 9 more fences to take. Frodon once again establishes a clear lead. Frodon comes now towards fence number 10. His advantage extending to 2 lengths over Minella Indo over in second. And Minella Indo ridden along for the first time by Rachel Blackmore. On that one's outside, Clan Des Obeaux and then Asterion Forlange as they take another open ditch, and Frodon was very good there. He stood a long way off that, and he leads by 2 lengths to Clan Des Obeaux, moving up now on the outside of Asterion Forlange in second and third. Looks as though Frodon now just getting a bit of a breather as they go into that turn with a mile to go. They're queuing up in behind. So it's Frodon now by just over a length to Clan Des Obeaux in second. Lost in Translation around the outside of Minella Indo, who's lost the rail. Asterion Forlange pushing up towards that one's inside. Tornado Flyer is next. They head down the back straight. Chantry House, who's been off the bit now for about half a mile and still appears to be struggling to hold his position, with Mr. Fisher on the inner and St. Calvados out very wide. And again, very slow as Chantry House. He's immediately pulled up. Chantry House pulled up as they approach fence number 13. On then towards the 13th, and Frodon still holds sway. His lead there was a length and a half. In second, Clan Des Obeaux, and now they set their sights on the final open ditch, fence number 14 in the King George, and Frodon still has this lead of a length and a half. Again, he jumps the ditch really well to Clan Des Obeaux in second. On the wide outside, St. Calvados now has moved into third, followed by Asterion Forlange as they go over the final fence down the back, and it's all changed. Tailing off at the back of the field, Minella Indo, who looks well and truly held, and St. Calvados now moves right round the outside of runners and takes the lead from stablemate Clan Des Obeaux in second. Tornado Flyer now in third around the outside of Asterion Forlange. Frodon may have checked out. He's back now to 5th position, but he in turn is 6 lengths clear of Mr. Fisher, who is tailed off. So too is Lost in Translation, and this is the third from home, and Clan Des Obeaux has now moved through to share it with St. Calvados, followed by Tornado Flyer on the wide outside, Asterion Forlange on the inner, down towards the second last, Clan Des Obeaux, joined now by Tornado Flyer on the near side, and Danny Mullins as they race on now down towards the final fence in the King George, and it's Tornado Flyer who's going for the huge shot. He leads now Asterion Forlange, his stablemate Willie Mullins 1 and 2 as they cross over the last. Asterion Forlange is down at the final fence, and it is Tornado Flyer who will give Willie Mullins only a second win in the King George. Tornado Flyer wins for Danny Mullins. In second, Clan Des Obeaux. In third place was St. Calvados. In fourth was Frodon, and in fifth, Lost in Translation. The only 5 to get home in a dramatic King George.
Well, the second time that Asterion Forlange has come down in quick succession, he is up okay. That is good to see. It looks set to be a 1-2 for trainer Willie Mullins, but the one that was the one that mattered, and it's gone to this horse, Tornado Flyer. A massive shock, Jonathan Neeson. A second go at 3 miles for him, and a first success at it.
Well done you, Tom. I mean, you said you thought he might well find his way sneaking into a place, and that you didn't think he should be the outsider. I gave you one of those looks that suggests I thought you were losing your marbles, and he's been given another brilliant ride.
Yes.
That's 2 he's done this afternoon.
Yeah. Do you know what was interesting? He and Barney Clifford, after he won on Jacomar, were walking off as I was trying to interview him, and he was saying to Barney, "Guys, it's a long way home here. Really, a long way home."
But he's come wide.
I
think he's worked it out.
He's come wide and he's been patient.
Yeah, and you could argue that the Nichols horses have all done for each other.
Yeah.
Particularly St. Calvados, who swept by Clan Des Obeaux and got him at it earlier than Harry Cobden wanted. In the end, it didn't matter. He was third best.
And Frodon's not run to form, is he?
No, when he was harried by Minella, I got this entirely wrong. I mean, it was Minella Indo that put it up to Frodon. You know, every time she was trying to ease the pace, Rachel Blackmore put it up. In the end, the horse backed out himself.
We're looking at a race here where a lot of the principals have Rolumbo form, aren't we?
Well, possibly.
Clan Des Obeaux, first of all. Has he run to full?
Well, look, 90% of the race he ran absolutely brilliant. You know, he was exactly the right place. He was wherever Cobden wanted him. In the end, he hasn't seen the race out. Now, part of that is down to St Calvados getting him going earlier than he wanted to ask him, but part is because he wasn't as good as the other two.
Frodon run to full?
No, but you know, there's excuses for that in that he wasn't allowed entirely his own way that he was last year. And I never really think this course particularly suits him, even though he won the race.
Minella Indo? Well, he can't have done. He's
disappointed badly. You know, he really has.
Would this horse, was he home and hosed, or might have a steering for launch had he not jumped so steeply? He was winning.
He was winning. You know, steering Kalonji hadn't been able to get into the right place to make the challenge. He wasn't waiting. He didn't want to be 3 lengths down at the last.
I think a more patient rider suited a steering for launch here, but he has ultimately another jumping error has cost him.
I know, it's a shame because he's travelled through the race. He had to prove his stamina, and in the end, he looked like a tired fool. But this might be the shape of things to come.
How do you
again?
We build this as you know, a seriously top-class renewal.
Yeah.
Danny Mullins, unsurprisingly, smiling there. How do you feel after it?
That it was a seriously top-class renewal.
You do?
Yes.
So this is an unexposed staying chaser, isn't it?
It's exactly like the Arc. Everyone said it was going to be one of the best ones in years, and when the wrong horse won, everyone said, "Oh, it's rubbish. Wasn't any good after all." You know, the wrong horses won. Doesn't mean the race is wrong. Yeah, they've all had their chance. He's won it, and he was the best horse on the day. He might not have the record going into it, but he's certainly got it now.
When he ran at Cheltenham last year, he was staying on third in the JLT, staying on third. Yeah, so can he cut it in a Gold Cup?
I doubt it. It's an entirely different race. But he's been given a ride to smuggle him into a race where, in the end, the horses that were up there possibly went too fast for their own good. But you don't detract from him. He's won it hands down, and good luck with him.
You'd have done well to suggest that Danny Mullins was going to ride a double today.
You could have knocked me down with a feather quite comfortably.
Do you have anything else you would like to say about the race?
Just because it's the wrong result in many people's eyes doesn't mean it's the wrong race. I thoroughly enjoyed the race. I thought he was running a really good lick. I've got all the sectionals compared to the Corto start.
Yeah, go on, expand a bit on that.
They went off a lot harder. I think Frodon had to because Minella Indo was pestering him. Then when Frodon tried to get a break in at halfway, Minella Indo went up the inside again and had another go. They did quicken up in the last mile, but in the end they're not that much quicker than the Corto Star, which is often the way.
Tornado Flyer wins the Ladbrokes King George at 28 to 1. Danny Mullins joins me. I don't know how optimistic a person you are. Did you think you might be doing 2 winning interviews today, or off the back of or given the ride you had?
Going through the form last night, I thought they both had decent chances, but for the day to turn out as it did, you know, I would have been foolish to think both would win, but I knew I wasn't out of it at the same time. I was cautiously optimistic, and you know, the first lad got the job done nicely, and I still thought Tornado would run a big race. You know, on the best of his form, it's in there, and you know, when he gets it all together, he's a proper good horse, and he's proved that today in such a competitive race.
I heard you walking away with Barney Clifford, clerk of the course here after Jackamar, saying, "Oh, it's a long way home here. It's a long way home." Did the win in that race almost change anything about how you approached it with Tornado Flyer, or not?
Not really. You know, I suppose even when myself and Barney were talking, you know, he knows this track inside out, and to walk it, you'd think that the ground maybe isn't as bad, but when you're riding it, it's a stiff test, and especially in these good races where they go an end-to-end gallop. Yeah, you know, it's you just have to have every box ticked, and thankfully I had a willing partner underneath me. That's what it's all about. And
did you know he'd stay?
I was hopeful he would. You know, he'd only had one run over 3 miles before, and the race just didn't go to plan. The way he came home for me in the Ryanair chase in Cheltenham, I was always optimistic that 3 miles might bring out the best in him, and you know, the lads at home have done a fantastic job on him. Anytime you're riding for Willie in a big race like this, you know you have a right chance.
What was behind the option to keep him wide, seemingly, or you wanted to keep him wide?
Well, the original plan was maybe to be more so down the inner, but as the race was developing, I just thought there was a little bit of traffic developing there, and I was thinking, team radio's in my ear, like, keep out of traffic. Keep out of traffic. And I was really starting to jump well at that point. So, with traffic, if you're jumping well, you can run into a little bit of a pocket and get curtailed. So once I kept the jumping rhythm, saved a bit of petrol, from halfway down the back straight, I was optimistic I was going to run a big race, but credit to Tornado, he's gone and done the job for me. I guided him, but he's the one that's got the job done.
You mentioned the Ryanair staying on third in that last year. Gold Cup now, right? Can he cut it against those? He's won a King George. Why can't he cut it against those horses?
To see how he travelled so well today at this trip, it opens up an option that he could have a go at a Gold Cup. The Gold Cup, they'll go a good gallop, but he'll steady up in the middle part of the race, and for him to be able to travel and jump like that, that option will be there. But all these things will be discussed at home beforehand, but he's definitely put it as a solid option now after that performance.
How does it feel for you to be holding that trophy?
It's quite heavy. It's fantastic, so it is, Thank you.
Look at that. Perfect timing.
On cue. To be a King George winner, it's fantastic. Looking back at what all the other Mullinses have achieved, it's a great family to be a part of, and these days I thoroughly enjoyed them.
Congratulations on a great day, Danny.
Thank you.